Urban Development Solutions, Sylvia's Restaurant, and the City of St. Petersburg, I'd like to welcome everybody to the groundbreaking for the Sylvia's Restaurant at the historic Manhattan Casino. Thanks everyone for coming. We do have some important people that we'd like to recognize in the audience. I'm going to try to hurry the program along. I know it's a little warm in here. We do have water in the inside in the annex, so if you'd like some water, it is in there. But we have Commissioner Ken Welch is here. Mayor Bill Foster is present. The Honorable Rick Baker, our former mayor, is here. We also have several members of City Council, and we're going to let our mayor introduce everyone who's on the City Council. And we also have two of the family members from Sylvia's Restaurant, Van Woods, if you please stand. And Trinez Woods is here as well. And I don't believe I missed anyone, so if I did, please charge it to my head and not my heart. We're going to start off with remarks by Mayor Bill Foster.
Well, good afternoon. I'm going to try to make this short because it is kind of warm out here. But I'm going to steal a phrase from somebody who was doing this job before me. It's another great day in the city of St. Petersburg. It really is. And I'll give credit to Mayor Rick Baker. He kind of coined that one, but this is one of the most exciting things that we have going on in St. Petersburg, and it's been a long time coming. Working with Larry Newsom and his staff and putting an incredible city team on this, led by Rick Mussett and Bruce Grimes and Mike Sarakis and others, to make this day possible. You know, we opened the Manhattan Casino, we renovated it a decade ago, and then, or close to it, and then we kind of did a soft opening so people could see the upstairs, the renovations, and kind of bring back that jazz. I mean, a historic place where Duke Ellington, Dizzy Gillespie, and all of these jazz and music greats played the Manhattan. So it's a historic building, and then to bring a recently a golden anniversary of Sylvia's of Harlem, over 50 years old, and to be the first location outside of New York coming down to St. Petersburg to open up a Sylvia's of Harlem. And the first time I met Van, I fell in love with Van, with the Sylvia's concept, and with his passion for customer service, quality food, and a great brand. And then I just met his niece, Trinez, and she was introduced. And she's the third generation, so it's going from generation to generation, and this model is ingrained in the Sylvia's brand. It will be a destination restaurant for all of Tampa Bay, and people are going to come from Fort Myers to get that taste, because we're going to be open first. But this is a destination restaurant. It's on the Deuces, it's in the historic Manhattan Casino, and it is a marriage made in heaven. So to the Woods family, thank you for your commitment. To Larry Newsom and to the city staff that put all of this together, to the city council for your support, thank you for making this day possible. Now I see, and please recognize and give honor to the city council members that are here. We have our chair, Council Member Carl Nurse. We have our vice chair, who shouldn't be in the sun, Council Member Bill Dudley. We have Council Member Jim Kennedy, Council Member Jeff Danner, Councilwoman hiding behind Dr. Gordon, Leslie Curran, Councilmember Wingay Newton. So we have a quorum, so if we need to pass any policies today, we'll do it inside. God bless you all. Thank you for this day.
Thank you, Mayor. I'd also like to recognize Watson Haynes. He's president of the Pinellas County Urban League. He's here as well.
Good afternoon, and I'd like to thank all of y'all for coming out to celebrate this occasion with us. Boy, I tell you, it's been a long, hard slog. But we're here, and we're doing this, and we're going to make this happen. I'd like to thank the staff of Urban Development Solutions who've been working all the way through this process with us. Will all of you guys stand or wave your hand or something so you can be recognized? I'd also like to thank my wife Betty, who really runs the show. I'm just a sidekick at all of this. And I'd also like to thank the city staff that's worked with us too. You know, there have been lots of stuff that we had to work through, lots of issues. But I tell you, these guys worked with me. They hung in there with me every step of the way. And you know, whatever issues that have come up along the way in this project, we found a way to overcome and work through them and keep the project moving forward. So for that, I would really like to say thanks to all of those guys too. We're doing this project in an interesting way. We actually have 3 phases to it. We're doing the upstairs, which we're actually renovating right now. There are guys up there working as we speak to get that ready. We are hoping that we're going to have that facility ready to go by the early part of July, and we're actually going to have a grand opening for the Manhattan Casino, which is the upstairs part of this thing. And we'll have it open and ready for events after our grand opening. In fact, right now, I think we're probably going to have an event in here the very next night. The class of '68 is planning on having their reunion in it to christen the hall, so we're very excited about that too. So if any of the rest of y'all have events that you're interested in having, by all means, get in touch with us. We're ready to entertain your ideas and hopefully help you have a very pleasant event. And the other thing is that we're going to have the Manhattan Casino open and ready to go sometime late September, early October. And we'll probably be having our grand opening for the facility sometime around the end of October. But I tell you, I think that you all are going to be very, very pleased with the work that's happened here. And I think that you're going to be very pleased as a venue for this city. We hope to make this, like the mayor said, a destination restaurant for the entire west coast of Florida. And we're going to invite the community in, and we're going to do special events to make sure that everyone in this community gets the chance to utilize these facilities. And with that, I think I've said enough and I'm hot, so it's time to go on to the next speaker. I'm going to bring up Van Woods. Van is the oldest child of Sylvia's. Sylvia was the founder of the Sylvia's restaurant in New York City. So with that, if you come up, Van. And his niece, Triness, is also coming up. She's in charge of marketing for Sylvia's.
Hello, 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 beautiful people. Thank you all for having us here. We thank Larry for the persistence that he has, the vision that he has. I mean, Larry has stuck with us and kept pushing it over the months, over the years. I mean, just have laid with it, and we're so very grateful. I tell you, St. Petersburg, y'all are, you know, you're just a special kind of people. I know you've heard this before, you know, just the warmth, the hospitality that y'all have showed me over the period of time I've been coming here. And what, with Larry's vision to tie Sylvia, we'll, as Larry said, we just celebrated 50 years recently, 50 years that we have not only survived, but kind of prevailed in Harlem. Thank God to Mom and Dad up there. We give thanks to them who have started it all. Manhattan Casino and the Sylvia's together, it just says so much. And so I don't want to take up too much time speaking, but I just want to express our gratitude. And we'll try to do, and we commit to doing a wonderful job once we come here. And we come with hard work and passed down from our parents with a lot of love and appreciation. Thank you. I'll let my niece, who's the next generation coming up, to say a few words. Go ahead, niece. Trinace Woods, Black.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I just want to quickly, I'm not going to keep you guys too long, but this project is really important to us for a lot of different reasons. One, because as we've already mentioned, we just celebrated our 50th anniversary last October. And what the Sylvia's Restaurant brand is about, it's about community. Our family has been able to create more than just a restaurant in Harlem. We are an institution. We're the go-to place for everything that you can think of. People call us, they want to know where should they live. They're moving into the community. People call us, they want to know that their kid is, coming up on an age that they need to go to school. What schools can we suggest? And what we tell people is that Sylvia's, we're part of the community. We are definitely invested in the village of Harlem. And in speaking with the mayor this morning, just to find out that St. Petersburg shares that same vision and community is something that just warms my heart. So we're looking forward to assisting Larry and his team in making sure that this project is more than a success. We're making sure that this project is going to be a model that really represents what soul food is about. Soul food is one of the most important cultural identity markers for the African American culture. So to be here at home in a Manhattan casino is perfect. Thank you guys so much. Much success.
Excuse me, there's one other thing that I want to say too that crossed my mind, not to drag things out. Sylvia, even though it's a black family in Harlem, Sylvia have always been a multiracial business, and the dynamics of all the different races and ethnic group that comes to Sylvia, I mean, we're just amazed by it. And we're just grateful. We want y'all to know that.
Yes.
Amen. Thank you, Larry. God bless.
Thank you. And to the Woods family, we thank you for your vision and your commitment as well. I'd also like to recognize some representatives from Hennessy Construction. They're the company that is doing the renovations. We have Mark Stalker from Hennessy Construction. I think John Crum is here as well. Okay. And before we call up the architect, Tim Clemens, to give you a little bit of information about the design and what we're creating here, I'd like to ask Councilman Carl Nurse to come forward and give some remarks, and then after he's complete, Councilman Wingate Newton will give some remarks as well.
I know it's hot, so I'll be brief. I just think it's important for people to stop for a moment and think about how the pieces fit together. North of us, the Arts Industrial Warehouse District is coming together. Across from us, I look forward to the groundbreaking as we begin to bring manufacturing jobs across the street. On the other side of the interstate, the Deuces Business District has kicked into gear. You've seen what were the two most dilapidated buildings on the strip that have just been renovated. In about hopefully 8 weeks, the college will be able to break ground. And around the colleges, I know that the Deuces folks have been talking to businesses. Once the Deuces break ground, they've got some other businesses that want to come. So we just need to just keep working and begin putting the pieces together. So it's great that this is happening, and as important is the ripple that will come from this. So Wingate, it's all yours.
Good afternoon. It's nice and cool up front here. I wanted to also congratulate and also thank Mr. Wood and the Woods family from Sylvia's, and also Larry Newsom. Perseverance is putting it lightly, is what that gentleman did to try to get most of this district or the Deuces turned around after the bulldozers went through. It was all forgotten. The gentleman found a way when nobody would find a way at all. I spoke to a lot of different businesses, a lot of different restaurants, and they were opening restaurants all over this beautiful city, not just on this side of this beautiful city. So I know the significance of having it. This was the fourth prong in the Midtown Initiative. People got together, the stakeholders that lived around here after a lot of the demolition, a lot of historical assets that we had. But this is truly an epic day, an epic moment. So I can't wait to have this open. I know it took a lot of time. It's 3 years behind, if you ask me, because I think the momentum should have been kept going. But hopefully we can regenerate that and get the other elements back in place and then move forward. The people down here, they deserve no less. We already went through the plans. Everybody already sat around tables and said what they wanted. And to you, Mr. Woods, let you know about food. A lot of people say that the real reason the restaurants won't come because people they probably won't patronize them. But I can assure you, so every business, every gas station, every corner store has a little food deli or a $2 holler, and the lines around the block early morning, not every morning, but early morning, and even well into the afternoon. So they are spending money on food down here, so you won't have a problem with the product that you're bringing from Manhattan. I thank you, and also I thank Matt Baker and Goliath Dable for all the hard work they did to try to keep this going and not leave Midtown behind. Thank you.
Good afternoon. I'm Tim Clemens with Mesh Architecture, and I'd like to start by just thanking all the people that helped make this possible, Larry Newsom and all the people at UDS, Greg, Tamara, the City of St. Petersburg. Staff's been really great to work with throughout this whole project as always. And the Woods family, we've been on probably about 12 hours of conference calls over the last 3 weeks, picking out every piece of kitchen equipment and reviewing it several times over. And they've just been really involved in a very dedicated way in making this really represent the best of what they have and bringing it down here to St. Petersburg. You know, whenever you undertake a creative enterprise like this, you always look for design cues. You look for something to give you a starting point. And with this kind of project, there was so much richness to pull from. The history, the architecture, and the traditions of the Manhattan Casino, the history and the tradition and the food and the community characteristics of Sylvia's, and the idea of marrying those together from a design point of view is just really kind of an ideal project type that it's almost like a classic textbook school project you would assign. Combine historic preservation, take a real community institution, take a nationwide restaurant, combine it all together in a place. And although restaurants are by their nature private businesses, they're also community social centers. So they're privately owned, but they really are community gathering points. And this has really been what we've striving for in the design intent for this, is to create a place that talks about all of these things, the history and tradition, but also how this is now a place for St. Petersburg to come together. And I'd like to invite you to come up after the presentation and take a look at the renderings that we've printed out that I hope will give you a good indication of what the restaurant will be like when it's open, as well as the event space upstairs. And I'd like to thank everybody for coming out, but more importantly, invite you back in July when the event center, the Manhattan Casino opens, and then in October when the Sylvia's restaurant opens. I'd really like to have you come back, and then we'll sit down and you can tell me what you think. Thank you very much.
Larry, call it out.
1, 2, 3. Alrighty.
All right, I guess we're ready to get started, so welcome. You know, a great little day here. And of course, it's a beautiful day. For those of you who came out last summer or tried to come out last summer, we tried to do this one day last August and it was pouring. So it's nice that we have a beautiful day today. My name is Peter Belmont. I'm president of St. Petersburg Preservation, and I'm excited to be here. Excited that we're here to have a fun afternoon in the pool and to recognize a piece of our community's history, which is important for us, I think, to not forget and important to remember and apply in the future some of the lessons that we have learned in the past. So With that, I'm very happy that Mayor Foster is here, so I will have Mayor Foster take the mic. Thank you.
Thank you, Peter, and St. Pete Preservation and neighborhood leaders, and thank you for your persistence in waiting a year for this. Peter spoke just a moment ago about lessons learned, and let me share with you a lesson that I learned. Because there was a time when I was looking at our pools and looking at numbers of attendees, the cost of chlorine, the cost of lifeguard, and these were numbers on charts. And I was newly elected and looking at numbers that we could reduce. And I remember a lesson that I learned because I remember thinking that pools are holes in the ground, and that, here it goes again, that pools were simply holes in the ground, and that if numbers didn't work, you could fill the holes in the ground. The tough lesson that I learned is pools are more than that to neighborhoods. Pools are more than that to communities, especially this one. My lesson learned was on the history of this pool, the history of Jennie Hall, and the history of the neighborhood that came together to support this. The history that this was a place of importance in the African American community at a time when St. Petersburg maybe wasn't so embracing of all. And so my lesson learned is history and what makes a place a historic place isn't so much what is built out of the ground or built underground, but it's the events of history that took place on those grounds. I learned that in working with the African American Heritage Foundation that's setting up this trail. I learned that from hanging around people like Peter. That history doesn't make a building. The people make history. So, lesson learned. And thank you to this community for teaching me all about these wonderful events that happened here, and for teaching me about great neighborhoods, and teaching me about how neighborhoods can come together with community partners to teach the mayor new lessons. So God bless you. Thank you all for being here. Let me recognize a few council members that are here. We have our Vice Chair, Council Member Bill Dudley. We have Council Member Leslie Curran, Council Member Jeff Danner, and Council Member Wingate Newton. And as I close, I want to thank our Parks and Rec staff. I want to thank Sherry and Mike and Sue and just everyone that takes your kids seriously. They love your kids. And Jet, and through Tasco, and through all of the programs that we have for our kids, we know that education is a full-time job, but we also know its importance. And in the rec centers, it's all about team building, exercise, education, and it all happens in our parks and our recreation centers, and best of all, at our pools in the summertime. God bless you. Thank you.
I just want to say, as a historian, when the neighborhood approached St. Pete Preservation about working on this project, I was thrilled. This is kind of a dream project for a historian to work on, to have neighborhood support for a site that is so often overlooked. We forget these very, very common sites that we see every day are so important to our community's history. And if we don't find a way to recognize them and preserve them, they will be forgotten, and the lessons of our past will be forgotten. So, like I said, learning about what looks like this very ordinary, small community pool, learning about this very interesting history of, the need for everyone to be able to have a place to swim during the time of segregation, when all of our pools and beaches were not open to everyone in the community. I found it very, very interesting to learn about, very interesting, and such wonderful community support and community leaders that all passed through this pool. So we are very pleased to be part of it, and we really, most importantly, I think, is that it's still used as a pool. We can think about the history of this pool while we swim, and you know, really, I'm so glad we could have a free swim today for all the kids to enjoy. So thank you very much.
Over here, but I want to truly thank St. Pete Preservation, Mr. Peter Belmont. You know, he comes before council a lot of times to get stuff historically designated, and we don't always see eye to eye. But on this instance, I think it's the right thing to do. I appreciate the neighborhood staying engaged. I want to give big kudos out to Miss Lillian Baker. Also, Miss Baker blazed the trail. As you know, we had a serious problem with this pool, with the young kids in the neighborhood being able just to swim here. And in the tough time of budget cuts, we raised prices on these pools, and that happens system-wide. So we have different areas that are economically challenged and can't afford to pay that. So we had a lot of kids that couldn't come and swim in this pool. So we raised money so they can have 10 free swims. A lot of people contributed to that, and I want to say thank you. I want to also recognize the plaque of Miss Jennie Hall. As you talk about dollars and you look at dollars and cents, $25,000. That was the investment a Caucasian or white woman made so black kids can learn to swim and have a place to swim. $25,000. This building behind us was a lot more than just dollars and cents to me back then, and always has been, being born and raised in this city of St. Petersburg. I've seen a lot of changes, and all not good for the better, but this is definitely one of the ones in the right direction. It's just my hopes and my prayers that we do the proper upgrades and amenities and have the stuff here necessary for these young kids to be able to utilize it. The operating hours, I'm going to want to get that looked at also, but so they can have more time to enjoy this amenity. And if you know about amenities throughout the state and throughout the country, amenities don't earn revenue. They're just a quality of life type thing. They're the right things to do. So I thank our Parks and Rec department. I know they do a yeoman's job of keeping all these amenities around in different parts of these different economically challenged areas of our city, so people be able to enjoy them. And I like that because kids can come not far and be able to come and swim and enjoy a pool. And like Ms. Brown said, it'll be here for my grandkids, my grandkids' grandkids, their grandkids' grandkids. So it'll also be to remind us of the history. Because if you don't learn from your history, you're destined to repeat it. But thank you guys, and thank you for doing this for Miss Jennie Hall. Thanks.
I don't know about you guys, but I'm ready to swim. I came prepared. And I just want to say thank you to St. Pete Preservation. As a little girl, I was at this pool. And I'm so glad that it's now an historic site, and that not only my kids swim at this pool, but now my grandkids will be able to swim here, your kids, your grandkids, and I just thank you all. Let's swim. All right.